So you missed part of 24 with the hamstring. How difficult was it mentally to get back from that injury and get back to where you were?
Yeah, it taught me a lot about myself, the adversity, just dealing with the doubt that my leg would ever be the same, I could be the same player. Because you come out the gates and you're not the same player for me, but it takes time for that hamstring, especially how bad my hamstring was, to really get back to normal. And so it just really took a lot of belief in myself, supporting cast around me, from teammates, to parents, to family, to coaches. So I'm super blessed to have them in my life to keep me in the right spirits to get through that, for sure.
So a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, obviously baseball is such a mental game.
Yeah.
And just even if you're like a weekend warrior and you have a little injury, like the torque on your hips and things like that, when you're dealing with a hamstring and you're coming back from that, is there a point where like self-doubt starts creeping in?
Definitely, yeah. I feel like with anyone, you gotta believe you're the guy on the field no matter what. I believe that no matter who you are, you gotta believe you're the best player on the field to be a professional baseball player. If you don't have that self-belief that you're better than anyone out there, even though it might not be true, like someone might not in a 9-hole might not be better than Mike Trout. You gotta believe it though in yourself. You don't gotta say it, but you gotta believe it. Otherwise, this game will eat you alive.
So it's interesting also when you say that your numbers, significantly jumped from A to AA. What were some of the things that you worked on that gave you the ability? That's not always the path. When you go, you struggle a little bit, but you really hit the ground running. What was the key to that?
Yeah, the game's really mental. I think approach is a huge thing. Just getting more like a professional approach, not just trying to put the ball in play, but like trying to do damage while I do it, and trusting my contact ability while doing that. And so a little mechanical adjustment in my hips to get me more behind the baseball was another thing, to get the ball in the air, do more damage. But just trusting that and really focusing on my approach is huge.
So it's interesting you say that damage and barrel, because I've been doing this a long, long time, and I actually can count only 3 players that I actually heard before I saw them. One was Pete Alonso. This year, 2 of them, Luis Robert Jr. and you. Like, you're on a different field and you hear that sound. Mechanically, this year it seems that your ground ball rate has really dipped, and you are getting that elevation. What was the change that unlocked? I mean, you had power to begin with, but some of the shots you were hitting against the big boys in the field, I saw the different things. What unlocked the additional power?
I'd say being athletic in the box, not being just trusting my athletic ability, really, just being free and flowy and not tight in the box. Your muscles are a lot stronger when they're flowing. They're faster when they're flowing. They're not tight and trying to create speed. So I think that's a huge thing, just staying loose in the box, keeping my grip loose, and trusting my ability.
Another thing that I also noticed, since the Mets had a lot of guys in the WBC, a lot of guys that they were slow walking, getting ready. I think at that point, Beatty was dealing with some stuff. So you've got a lot of time, third base, you were in the outfield. How much did that help you get used to seeing that type of action?
It was great, yeah. I work really hard over at third base, and so to get that amount of action over there was huge for not only my physical ability, but the mental approach to defense as well, becoming more professional out there with learning your internal clock when the game can speed up. So stuff like that, knowing your runner, you're a slow runner, you don't have to panic and rush maybe like a play that would be difficult with a fast runner. Stuff like that just really helped out this year.
Another thing I noticed over the years has been a shift, and not a knock on Buck. He's old school, and basically Buck was a guy like, all right, the rookies should be seen, not heard, and they kind of were relegated to the back. When you come into the Met locker room at Clover Field, right smack in the middle, the veterans are around there, but you guys were right in like this little corner right there. Were you able to pick the brains of a lot of veterans, and was there a guy in camp that kind of came over to you and tried to mentor you a little bit?
Yeah, there was a bunch. There's almost too many to name, from like Arroyo to Simeon, just guys like that, Beatty, Mantos, those guys were all huge for me. And just really being around the infield guys was always great. Playing, over there, taking around balls with them every day, getting to watch them. Not only just talking to them, but watching them, you can learn a lot. So really just not trying to talk too much, trying to ask questions, and try to just watch and perceive everything going on. It was awesome.
Lastly, I mean, you're still young. How much do you follow the big club or even the AAA club? And do you have in your own mind a timetable or is it, you know, a lot of the guys say my feet are planted here, and that's all I'm worried about?
That's actually one thing I work on because I want to get to the big leagues so bad. So I can sometimes press where I'm at because I know I can play and compete at the upper levels, and so just knowing that I got to be where my feet are, and that's one thing I do. But I do pay attention from my buddies up there like Benge, AJ, Morabito, those guys like that, Clifford. I love to watch them, see how they're doing, and check in with them all the time. So.
Since you said that, I lied. I have a few more now. So you see Carson, if you have been following him, he struggled in the beginning,
yep.
and stuff that he never struggled with. All of a sudden, his strikeout rate was jumping off the chart, and he's a contact guy. Yeah. Now he's hitting like 350 over his last 15 games. He's hit another home run the other night. How much does that fuel you? Like you're like Carson Benge, and additionally to that, you mentioned the other guys that are coming. Can you envision, in 2 years maybe an outfield of Benge and you know, other guys that are in this system now that are just excelling, and what it might be like, you know, Morabito and Ewing, like what that could be like?
It could be electric. I feel like the group coming up, we play really well together, and so we all want to play in the big league together, and doing it in New York would be amazing. Just playing in front of the Mets crowd would be unlike anything ever. So I really believe that group knows how to win together coming up, and it's going to be awesome.